Greetings, salutations, respect, and love. Oh, my dear friends, have I got a good one for you today. We have been talking about this forever, man. Ever since I started my channel 3.5 years ago, and I planted my flag on the hill called Wobbler. Everybody's been wanting me to have this guy on the program today. It's none other than Lars Fredrik Frøislie. Hey, we had Andres Prestmo on the show, so, it's only fair that we get the great Lars Fredrik Frøislie, the founding member of the great Wobbler. But, I'm going to give you the full intro, man. This cat here was on the first 7 Tusmark albums. He's been on the last 4 White Willow albums. He's been on all 5 Wobbler albums, obviously. And now Dude Man's got his second solo album. Correct me on the pronunciation, Lars. It's Gamle Mester.
Gamle Mester.
Gamle Mester.
Thank you so much. So nice to be here. So yeah.
Now this is the second solo album that you've put out for Karisma. The first one I got right there behind me. Oh, yeah, Fire for Tellinger. Such a great album. I think I gave it a 9.5 out of 10. I liked it that much. But this one here, news break, everybody, news flash, spoiler alert, this one's even better.
Oh, really? Thank you.
Oh, man.
I haven't really gotten any feedback yet because it's it's so early, so...
I think I got probably the first, Martin probably gave me the first promo advanced copy that went out. He takes care of me. Karisma takes good care of the Prog Corner. And rightly so, because my people know how I feel. The greatest music in the world is happening right now. It wasn't in the 70s. I mean, we love our Yes and our Genesis and our Vandergraaf Generators and all our great Italian bands, but the best music ever recorded is happening right now, and it's happening in Norway. What? I'm sorry. I had Sycophant on the show a couple weeks ago. Love those guys. And I asked them the same question. What in the world is in the water in Norway? What's going on, Lars? Talk to me. Explain that to me.
That's a good question. I don't really have an answer for that, I think. But, there's... I think Sycophant was... I saw that episode, and I think they're onto something with all the school with the music, and it's sort of it's laid what you say in English. It's made. My English is not that
Lars, say it in Norwegian. I've got I got a lot of viewers in Norway, a lot in Sweden, so a Scandinavian audience is here.
It's made. Possible,
Yeah.
I think to play in a band, and especially where I'm from, on a farm where we had our own rehearsal space. So like it was, everyone could come when they wanted and just jam and play. So it was like a cultural house, out in the farm. But I have no answer to why there are so many great
It's
bands.
insane. I don't really get it. And the boys from Sycophant kind of laid it out pretty good. You have schools that actually still have the arts. The first thing to go, if there's budgetary restraints, if the money's not there in the school system, the very first thing they do is fire the music teacher. Every time, man. Those kids don't need music in their life. Absolutely not. They need indoctrination and whatnot. Music and the arts, we don't need that in America. And then they were also talking about the work week. Like, from the age of 18 to probably like 40, Lars, I worked like 60, 70, 80 hours a week. Every week. That was just the American thing. That's what we do. We work ourselves to the bone. There's no time for music. There's no time for artistic endeavors.
That's not good.
No, it's not good at all, man.
So I work reduced so I can have time to make music, and plus with the kids, it's nice to not work yourself to death, basically. So yeah.
Well, yeah, you got kids, so you got more important things to worry about. Some of us, I've heard, I think I hear them in the background running around, acting like kids. I never had kids, Lars. So I am, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm basically just a overgrown teenager, and
That's how it's supposed to be. Yeah.
It gives me a lot of time to do what I do. So I always respect people that, actually have families and somehow are able to, incorporate, what they do for work and what they do here and there. And oh, by the way, the wife and the kids want a little bit of my time too. So I don't have to worry so much about that.
And that's a good thing about this studio, because it's the basement. So I can get like 10 minutes down here, do something, and then up again. So it's scattered, but it's possible to do something, So yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the new album. You do the artwork, right? I mean,
yeah. It's a solo album, so why not do everything almost like?
Yeah, well, you don't do everything, just like the first album. We do have a bass player. I mean,
yeah.
I'm sure you can play bass, right? You're a talented guy.
No, I'm a terrible with the strings and guitars. No.
Really.
Yeah. But on the first album, I did have the Moog bass until the very end, and then it was I missed that Rickenbacker and the fuzz bass and the slides and so and I just thought I'd check if Nikolai Hensler.
Now he is from Elephant 9, right?
Yeah, and he's like a session. So he's on so many great albums. He's a full-time professional musician, so he's like he's on so many fantastic albums.
Yeah, I certainly wasn't questioning the wisdom of using him, because he's awesome, man. Is he playing all the Fender precision bass, or is he using a Rick also?
On this second album, it's only the Rickenbacker. On the last
album, really?
There were lots of different stuff, and
lots
of strange techniques and pedals and all these tricks that he knew. And again, he's like, he came here, and I would play him the stuff for the first time. We were sitting eating breakfast, and he was like, "Okay, so it's that note, okay, I'm ready." So it's and it's crazy. He took one take and did one version, then a variation, and like, you can choose what you want, so it's insane. So,
I mean, if you look at these two albums, the first one, which came out in 2022, was it, or 2023?
I think.
Yeah. And now this new one. So much of this material to these ears sounds like it would have fit just perfectly onto a sixth Wobbler album. Do you think about that when you're writing music? Maybe I need to save some of the good stuff for Wobbler album number 6. Or do you just say, you know what? There's plenty in the tank. I'll write some new stuff that's just as good down the road when the time comes.
Yeah, it was, it's a sort of like a pendulum swing for me, because I've always done stuff on my own, which I love, but I also love playing in a band with others, the social aspects. So I kind of go both ways. So it's and I'm sure it could be Wobbler material, just like when I did some black metal stuff back in the days. Some of that material could also be Wobbler music, and some of it actually ended up on From Silence Somewhere. I have some leftover black metal riffs which ended up on Foxlight. So it's it's possible just to introduce it to the guys and see what happens. And that's some of the magic, when
just in case people don't know. Just in case come on, people. I'm telling you, if you don't have From Silence to Somewhere, I'm on record as saying this is the best album of the 21st century, Lars.
Thank you so much.
It's better than Stephen Wilson's Hand Cannot Erase. It's better than Neil Moore's band Similitude of a Dream. Best album of the 21st century, Lars. Congratulations. But I find all 5 Wobbler albums to be amazing. But, you do a lot of different stuff, right? I mean, we talked a little bit about, helping out those crazy brothers in Tusmork over the years and, working with Jacob over there at White Willow. But, I didn't mention the Chronicles of Father Robin. You lent a hand on that, too.
Yeah, that was like around when we recorded Rights at Dawn, I think. So it's, what is it, 14 years ago? Like something like that. So,
It feels like only yesterday Andres joined the band, right? I mean, it doesn't seem like it's been 13 years since Presmo's been in the band with you guys.
But that was a huge deal when I tried actually to get Andreas to join on our second album, but he was busy with Lucas Kasha, and he was on TV and stuff in Norway, kind of a huge pop band. So no.
Oh yeah.
And the very night I heard they had broken up, I sent him an email.
Yeah.
And okay, I'm ready.
It's time. Yeah, he was just the obvious pick, just the perfect pick. Yeah. The missing ingredient, right? I mean, Wobbler had everything right there, except we needed a world-class singer. And that's something we're seeing in Norway is, you got that dude Einar Solberg from Leprous, and I just had Eriker Hawkson from Magic Pie on the show, and of course the great Andres Prestmo. All these amazing vocalists in Norway, yet you decide you're going to sing on these albums.
Oh yeah, on my solo albums?
Yeah.
Well, the first one came out or was made during the pandemic, so I was isolated. Plus,
right, again, you didn't have much of a choice, right?
Yeah. But then again, if it's a solo, just sing with whatever voice you have. Just listen to Bob Dylan. I'm a big fan of Bob Dylan, but
me too.
Favorite
Bob Dylan album?
Yeah.
What's your favorite Bob Dylan album?
Oh, what's it called again? That with a hurricane. What's that album?
Blood on the Tracks.
Yeah, I think if that's the hurricane
pretty
song.
Sure.
Yeah, with the violin and stuff. That's very cool.
I love Dylan. I went through a big Dylan phase when I was like 21 or 22 for like a year straight. All I listened to was Bob Dylan.
Yeah, nice.
Nothing wrong with that at all. But you sing in Norwegian, and Wobbler fans are used to English lyrics. Did you hear back from anybody saying, crying and complaining, why are you singing in Norwegian? We need you to sing in English like Andre does.
No, not really. It became sort of more like an instrument, I think, for those who don't understand. But it just was it was nice to do something different. And in Wobbler also, we've always thought about doing Norwegian lyrics ever since Hinterland, actually. But it was we ended up with English, and so that has kind of been in the background all along. And
well, it can be confusing. We mentioned Tusmark and those baffling, wacky brothers over there, whom I love. They can't make up their mind, right? Are they going to sing in English or Norwegian? And honestly, I'm almost like, pick one. Just pick. I don't care which language. Just pick one. My little brain struggles a little bit when it's Norwegian, one track, English.
For me, since I speak a little bit English, but mostly Norwegian, it's kind of it's more natural. I don't even think about if they sing in Norwegian or English, actually. So, but also it's to sing in your native language. It feels more authentic, I think.
Absolutely.
Just listen to the Italian prog bands. I prefer my Italian versions. And
absolutely, I can't stand those English versions of those PFM albums. Leorme did Serona and Filona in English, and Maxophone did one in English. Terrible. Bonko. I don't want to hear him singing in English, man. I don't. I just don't.
Language, of course.
Yeah.
So
Italian's perfect for prog rock, isn't it? I mean, if you had to pick one language.
Kind of tricky with the Norwegian because that's more barbaric, or it's not that beautiful sounding.
So that brings us right into Stefano from Museo Rosenbach, right?
Once more.
Our good friend Stefano from Museo Rosenbach. Did an Italian language version of one of your tracks, and you guys released that.
But actually, there's a whole the first album will be released in Italian. Stefano. So it's
he's gonna sing it all.
Yeah, it's done. It's finished. So it's coming.
I love that guy. Yeah. He's a big fan of the show. I don't think his English is too good, but he tries to comment on my Sunday live show every now and then. He'll pop up in his broken English. He's amazing, one of my favorite singers of all time. That's exciting news. But
I went down there in what was it, September, and I went to this village near Genoa, and and stayed there for like a week.
Wow.
And it was translated, but it was well, again, Italian. It's so everything ends with a vowel, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's it just and he's still got that fantastic voice.
Oh yeah, he
It
does.
was extremely emotional for me because I've listened to him since I was 17 years old.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
actually, I took Italian courses to understand the Michael Rosenbach lyrics.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
sort of stuff.
I'm doing the same thing, man. I'm studying Italian because I'm listening to Zarathustra and Per Inimico and Darwin. I'm like, I don't understand a word. Maybe that's for the best sometimes, because there's a lot of times I'm listening to American bands. I don't want to single out American bands because English bands are the same way. And you're listening to the lyrics and they're terrible. They just they suck. It's, you know, it's like, you guys are great musicians, right? You practice for years and years, your scales and arpeggios, you got that down, but when it comes down to writing lyrics, sometimes it's the worst part. So I actually prefer sometimes not knowing what you're saying. I can just imagine that it's, you know, Shakespearean in quality. I don't need to know any different. Now, everybody knows you as the keyboard player extraordinaire. And man, oh man, these 2 solo albums, you don't disappoint. Let's run down some of the gear that you use. Besides, you play the drums on both these albums. Man, you're a good drummer. You're playing the paste with the Zildjian cymbals, right? And now, but really we want to talk about your keyboards. You're like one of the few guys in the universe that plays both the Chamberlin and a Mellotron.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
It's a bit strange, perhaps.
Are they different? I mean, how do they differ?
Oh, well, the Chamberlain has 2 mono outputs, and the tape is much wider and not so much compressed. So it's got a more high fidelity sound and very warm and natural sounding. Yeah. And it's got, 8 sounds? And you can choose to combine 2 sounds, for instance, cello and 3 violins, which becomes almost like a string quartet. Yeah. While the Mellotron is of course with the 3 sounds, which you can change the frames, just take out the guts, you know, and it's a more noisy and gritty sound, I guess. Are you one of those guys that's going to tear your Mellotron apart and learn every single technical aspect? Are you one of those guys that you need to know all the guts? No, I'm so bad at like fixing stuff. So but luckily the Mellotron and Chamberlain, there's a guy in Stockholm who can fix it. Oh, nice. Not in Tokyo. Right. So, exactly. So I can drive like 7 hours and get them fixed, which I've done several times. So yeah. Yeah. We know how those things work. They're always needing work. So you got the Mellotron, you got the Chamberlin, you're playing the ARP Pro Soloist. Mm. You're playing the another ARP, right? The Axe. Yeah, the Axe. Then we've got Wurlitzers. We've got Hammond C3s going through Leslie speakers. We've got clavinets. We've got, how do you get the harpsichord sound? Yeah, that's the one behind here. And, you know, I have to tune it every second day. Really? So it's a real nightmare. And when you first got it up and running, you just got to record and go, you know? So it's very fine tuning also with those plectrum. Right. String. If it's wrong, it's just stuck. If it's loose, it won't pluck. And then it's a tuning. It's like 2 strings per key, so it's lots of strings, and same with the piano here as well. So which is, I tune it decent enough, you know. It's I like things a bit pitchy and stuff. Yeah. That's why I like the Mellotron. And well, exactly, the Mellotron, man. If you've got perfect pitch, the Mellotron's going to drive you insane. Even on a good day, it's just so weird and warbly and stuff. But that's the human feel to it. Kind of, it's not perfect. Absolutely, it has its bad days and mood swings. You know. Yeah. Oh yeah. Very very moody piece of equipment there. But so we're talking about your 2 solo albums, and the thing, I mentioned the harpsichord for a reason, Lars, and that is,
we hear all the mini Moogs and the Mellotrons and the Hammonds and all that stuff, but really the instrument that really pops up and creates a lot of character on both of these albums is the harpsichord. And I venture to say it's because there are no guitars.
Yeah,
where you've got the plectrum effect.
Yeah.
It sounds like a guitar. In fact, I was watching a reaction video the other day. Some kids were reacting to Siberian Khatru, and where Wakeman does that harpsichord solo. Both of them were convinced it was a guitar.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
but that's important. Also, the clavinet is also kind of where I use the fuzz pedal, and that's sort of also the guitar kind of thing.
Yeah,
so,
because it's got that good attack.
Yeah,
the clavinet's got that attack.
Also, I use the Chamberlain guitar on the Mellotron. So with the tremolo and effects and so on, plus the fuzz organ. So it kind of, that's instead of guitar, you know, just to fill it up and make some grit. And while the harpsichord is more like the acoustic guitar, you know.
Right.
You can
exactly.
dampen the strings, so it's kind of more lute-like, and
And you kind of, I'm sorry, I think I need that. Even Emerson, Lake, and Palmer were smart enough to understand that Greg Lake had to pick up a six-stringer every now and then. you kind of need that texture.
Yeah,
I think, and that's where the genius of using that harpsichord in the music. I think it's really, really incredible.
Yeah.
And it creates a lot of cool stuff. But you know, I was talking to you earlier about maybe playing a song off the album, and the title track has just come out, and I think we should listen to it because I want to hear it. I wasn't sure one way or another, but you know what? I want to hear it, and I think the kiddies want to hear it. This is the title track of the new Lars Fredrik Frøislie album. Let's do this. Yeah. That's catchy. Those drums sound so good, man.
Old 70s Ludwig drums.
Oh, those are Ludwig.
Yeah.
I thought that was paste.
Yeah, paste cymbals with Ludwig.
Oh, Ludwig kick, paste cymbals. That makes sense. Can't escape that harpsichord.
Yeah. I like this improvised sort of.
Really?
One take, you know.
I love Nikolai's bass tone, man. That bass sounds so good.
Mellotron steel guitar.
Yeah. Check that out. Okay. I didn't notice that before. Ah. Ba, 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 da, da. I like that foreshadowing.
Bit of rock and roll.
Oh yeah. Beautiful.
I like that it's all natural instrument. There's no like trigger drums or anything. This is like real instruments, the way they naturally sound.
All right, well, talk to me about that drumming, man. You're a good drummer. Where'd you learn how to drum like that?
Well, we've always had the drums. Like I talked about that cultural house on our farm, you know, there were drum kits there. So I would play. I would actually rehearse the drums more than the keyboards. I've really never rehearsed the keyboards. That's
I think every single person who's ever been in a band that's not the drummer, at some point when the band's taking a break, you get behind that drum kit, right? It just calls your name, even if you don't know how. I'm gonna learn how to use this thing, man. It's just drumming's
and it's
awesome.
so cathartic, what you said, to play the drums. So it's you get out the aggression and so.
There you go.
Yeah. So that speaking of which, I think I broke like 3 bass drums on the recording of this. Really, and it became quite expensive.
Oh,
I don't know how many sticks, because I probably the wrong technique. And I'm a huge John Bonham fan, so I gotta hit.
Oh, so you want to beat him, right? You want to beat the crap out of him.
I want to mean it, you know. I don't want it's. It's like I'm lying on the floor when I'm finished. So it's.
I had heard the other day some clown on YouTube. I'm not going to mention any names. Andy Edwards from IQ and Frost and all those bands, whatever. Andy Edwards said, the only reason John Bonham sounded that good is because he had great equipment and good microphones in the studio. To which I say, that's absolute crap.
Yeah.
John Bonham would have sounded good on a $10 drum set with Radio Shack microphones, man. Nobody played drums like him. There's only a handful of drummers, right, that you hear them and you know immediately it's them. No questions asked. You know automatically. That has nothing to do with the microphones.
No.
Nothing. Zero.
And speaking of which, I even used the Glenn Jones microphone technique.
Oh, there you go.
So,
nice.
But although I did cheat a bit, I had some room mic. I also did some close miking. But we had that on top and on the side by the snare. No, on the tom and bass drum. That's kind of the 3 main sources, and then I added some the close micings, cheated a bit, but
yeah. You want to cheat a little bit, otherwise you're not getting that stereo kind of sound in the drum set, which people love. But you're not the kind of guy that's going to be rolling down the rack toms all the way Neil Peart style. That's not your drumming style. But The drumming is solid on here. I remember when the first album came out and I'm looking at, okay, Lars plays everything but bass. And I'm thinking, oh boy, the singing's going to be terrible and the drumming's going to be terrible. He's probably using a drum machine. And then when I hear, I was like, oh man, this guy's actually really, really good. Now, you were talking about how up until like the last minute on the first album, you were thinking about leaving in your bass, right? I mean, because that's what Stevie Wonder did. On all those great 70s albums, Stevie played all the keyboards, did all the singing, played all the drums, but he couldn't play bass, so he played the bass on his keyboard.
Yeah, that's true. Well, and it was close before, but I'm glad Nico came in and let him do his take on it, you know. So, nice to get some fresh inputs.
Absolutely. And that is the challenge of a solo album, right? Because you're used to being in a room with 5 guys, all of whom are really, really talented in their own right, all of whom have great ideas to bring to the table. And now you're doing a solo album. If you don't have somebody with a different brain to bounce ideas off of, it could go real wrong real fast, right?
And it's also the same with the artwork, you know, when I'm also doing a bit. When is it finished? Like, or am I on the right path here? You know, it's can be difficult, but you just have to go with your instinct, I guess.
So the new album comes out May 9th on Karisma. Big fan of Karisma. You guys know where to get it over there in the UK and the rest of Europe. Not a problem. But here in the U.S., for my U.S. people, you know Ken Golden is going to have it over there at Laser's Edge. So shouldn't be any problem picking it up. And you definitely want to. The artwork is just stellar, man. I want to look at it again. There it is. Look at that. Well, that's really cool.
You got to see the whole album because you haven't seen the back yet.
I haven't seen anything but the front image.
Yeah, so that's half of the fun is the backside. So yeah.
And show the people the inside of the first album.
Yeah, that's back here.
Man at work, working hard. All right, so. Hey, get up there. Stay up. Uh-oh. Don't go anywhere. So, yeah, I would be remiss if I didn't. You know, the people are all on me. You know how these prog rockers are, man. They got a one-track mind, right? No John, no yes. You know, once they get something stuck in their little brain, you can't get it away from them. And all I keep hearing about is, when's there going to be a new Wobbler album? And I'm like, look here, people. You've had not one, but 2 Lars, Fredrik, Frøislie solo albums. Not 1, not 2, but 3 Chronicles of Father Robin records. What do you want, man? That's 5 albums right there. There's only been 5 Wobbler albums. So we've got 5 albums right there to satisfy your Wobbler Jones. But is there any movement in Wobbler world? I keep going onto your Facebook page and I keep hearing and seeing all these cryptic messages and whatnot. What are you guys up to?
Well, now, you know, like the pendulum swing, now it's back to Wobbler. And that's, I think, one of the reasons to why we have good albums, I think, because we take our time, you know. Yeah. And so we don't just, okay, we need to fulfill this contract or something. We just take our time and make music from the heart, you know, when it's supposed to be made at the right time, and now it's the right time. And we had a fantastic rehearsal a couple of weekends ago at Andreas's place, and we've like for the first time figured out how many songs and material do we have here, and we have enough material for 2 or 3 albums. We just need
fantastic
to do the main work, like or figure out how the puzzle goes, you know. So we're very on track again, so that feels
do you feel the weight of expectation? I mean, it's weird because it's a prog rock band and weight of expectation, we're gonna move 15,000 units and it's like a big deal or something, man. But you know, in our own little niche, in our own little corner of the world, Wobbler's a big deal. They really are. And do you feel any weight of expectation now that, Wobbler's kind of become like one of the big bands in the modern prog scene versus like when you did, Afterglow and nobody cared?
Yeah, it is a bit of a difference, and that's perhaps also one of the reasons why I did the solo album. When I think about it, a bit, just to get no pressure. Plus, the contracts with Karisma was finished, and I had these two new ones with a new deal with Karisma for these two albums. So it was it just felt right,
Yeah, and it's got to be fun to be in a band that people actually care about, right? Because there's so many of the people I talk to, and they're putting out great albums, and let's face it, the prog audience is pretty small. There's not a whole lot of people out there listening to this kind of music, but in our own corner of the world, Wobbler is a heavyweight. We put them right up there with the Opeths and the Dream Theaters of the world. Steven Wilson, obviously, Neil Morris. Wobbler's right there. That's your top tier of prog right now.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure about that, but we definitely we've seen all the well, then again, when we released like the three first album, we got so many shitty reviews and so on, so we were kind of used to not paying attention to it. But then all of a sudden, From Silence to Somewhere, there was so many great reviews, so we kind of noticed and started reading these reviews. So no, that's fun. So and it's and also the fifth album was so well received. So we do feel it a bit, I guess.
Well, yeah, that Dwellers of the Deep was probably the first album that you guys made where you realized, there's actually people paying attention here. And
but then again, that material was made, much of it was made before From Silence.
Really?
So again, we didn't know.
Right.
But when we're together now, we don't think about that, We're just doing what we feel like and having fun and, just making what we get a kick out of,
Yeah, I love reading the reviews. I was on where was I? I think I was on Prog Archives the other day. Somebody writing a review of Dwellers of the Deep saying, I don't like these guys. They sound too much like Yes. And I'm like, I kind of get it and I kind of don't, right? Is that something you're aware of that people, want to, and it's true with every band, right? Whenever I do an album review, I try really hard not to, they sound like band X, Y, or Z, but it's so hard not to, right? To make those connections
we
for
lay
people.
our head out there because we use these old instruments. And, and Andreas has this high voice, so it's, and of course the Rickenbacker, so we don't do it.
Three strikes against you there.
But it's but it's like we love these old keyboards and so on. So why not use them? And plus I have them, So it's would be silly to.
Indeed. I mean, I felt the same way in 1978 when Yes put out Termato and Rick Wakeman's using all these different, keyboard sounds. I'm like, what was wrong with the old keyboard sounds? Nothing, and all the way through the 80s and 90s, I'm like, I hate these patches. I hate the CS80. I don't like that sound. I don't like the sound of the 80s. I don't like this. I was born in 62, man, so I'm a 70s guy, I guess. I'm stuck.
I was also very surprised when, I'm born in 1981, but I was sort of surprised when I heard these cheesy 90s MIDI sounds, and then I heard like the Rain song with Led Zeppelin, for instance. I was thinking that was real strange, and it was like, this has gone the wrong way. It's supposed to be better, but so I've been very aware of that. Plus, I have the same feeling with these cheesy 80s Emerson sounds. So I've always preferred the old stuff. But then again, it's I don't if the song needs whatever a modern instrument, I'll use it. It's not it's not like I don't want to touch it because it's modern.
Yeah, but you're right. That is kind of the headline about Wobbler. Oh, they use all those vintage instruments, nothing but period correct the Mellotrons and Chamberlins and Hammonds and Mini Moogs, and that's just music to a guy like my ears. I don't see anything negative about that at all.
And also, it's for me, at least on this last solo album, it's been very interesting to explore kind of the harpsichord, kind of Baroque instrument and the flute up against more modern instrument like the Mini Moog, and kind of see what happens when you.
Well, and that ties into a little bit of the title of the album. What does it translate into? Old Masters or
Old
Ancient Masters? Yeah.
Old Master, yeah, which is an old or a vague art history term, basically, with the Rembrandt and the Da Vinci and the.
I thought it was a tree.
Yeah, but that's also it's both. It's the Den Gamle Mester, the old master, is a tree. Not too
there's
far
the
from
tree. There's the tree right there.
Which is not too far from where I grew up.
Oh, really?
So I've always driven past it, and now we're soon coming to Gamle Mester. It's this nice, huge 1,000-year-old oak.
Yeah.
But of course, since I'm an art historian, so I'm starting to think and look at the old master. It's several meanings there, of course.
I love it. I can't wait to see the rest of it. Is it a gatefold?
Yeah.
Like the first album? Oh, goody. We love gatefolds, man. Yep. We love gatefolds. I don't know why. I don't know why that could possibly be, sitting in front of the TV, listening to some music. I don't know what I'd be doing with that gatefold, but that's a whole nother story. My guest today, Lars Fredrik Frøislie from the amazing Wobbler, also associated with the Chronicles of Father Robin, White Willow, Tusmorg, etc., etc. His brand new solo album comes out May 9th on Karisma. You don't want to miss it, man. Gamle Mester. Say it again.
Yeah,
Gamle Mester. I will get it. I am 25% Norwegian, Lars. So one of these days, I will learn the language a little bit. But yeah, man, I am so excited for the people to hear it. That's why we played a song. I don't normally do that, but the album is so good. And that hook is so catchy, man. Try to get that hook out of your head. Boys and girls, you heard the song. Yeah, you're going to be whistling and humming the rest of the day. Ba, 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 da, da, ba, 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 da, da. You know you are. You know you're going to, and you know you're going to run out and buy the new album. It is Prog Corner approved. I will be doing a review of it, but, we're still like a month away from release date, so I'll wait a couple weeks till I review it. That'll give me a chance to listen to it about 400 more times, because I swear I've listened to it like 100 times already. It is absolutely amazing. The best thing you've ever done is on this album, too.
Oh, thank you so much.
The last 5 minutes of the Three Fates.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, no. We're in Wobbler territory here. This is the greatness that, it is so rare to find somebody that can pluck a melody out of the ether and it just be one of the greatest things you've ever heard in your life. That's the Three Fates. It's so good, man. It's like Emerson, Lake and Palmer trilogy comes back to life. It's just so good, man. Complete with cowbell and everything. It's just so good, man. I absolutely adore it. Thank you for being a guest here on the show. We will be keeping real close tabs on everything Lars Fredrik Frøislie related, because you are certainly one of my favorite artists of the modern scene. So thank you for being here with us, man. Really enjoyed talking to you. But boys and girls, stay tuned Sunday, the Sunday live prog. We do it every Sunday, boys and girls. We do it every Sunday, 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern time. And I'm going to be doing a live remote because I won't be in BFE, Ohio. I'm going to fly down to Florida to see my dad. He turns 90 next week. So I'm going to be in Fort Myers. We're going to do the live Sunday prog stream, a live remote from Fort Myers, Florida, as we break down the 10 best albums from UK prog metalers Threshold. I love those guys. You know anything about Threshold, Lars?
No, I haven't heard them actually.
They're cool. They're a cool band. They're not my usual cup of tea. They're like prog metal. You
I think
know,
I've heard about them, but never.
but
heard.
they're awesome, man. I love them, and I have a bunch of experts on the band because I'm not an expert on anything prog metal. I like it. I love Dream Theater. I love Haken, but I don't know a whole lot about prog metal, so I've got some experts coming on the program Sunday. We're going to be breaking down Threshold, all their albums, talking about that. It's going to be amazing. And then next week, you know it's going to be Glass Hammer Week coming up here pretty soon, boys and girls. I'm going to have Fred Babb on the program. Oh, Steve Babb. Fred's not going to be on the show, but we're going to have Steve on the show, and then we're going to rank every Glass Hammer album. There's like 21 of them. It's absolutely insane. We're going to be talking about their brand new album, Rogue, which comes out next month. Very, very excited. Anyway, boys and girls, free the Ukraine, free the Middle East, free Tibet, free your mind, free beer, free Willie, and God save the king, Lars. Oh, Lars, we're going to save that king. King Chucky needs to come to America. Oh, yeah, things are really cooking in America these days, Lars. I don't know if you've noticed or not, but we got a whole political brouhaha going over here. The only thing that's going to solve it is King Chucky. Bring that boy over to America. You can swim. Oh, swim to America, Chucky, and then we're going to dance with some snakes. Oh, no. Oh, get these snakes away from me. Oh, no. I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.